Hi guys, Vegan Mommy D here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for being here. So today's video is just going to be a super easy day. It's going to be a what I eat in a day video, and I'll just walk you guys along with, what I'm eating. So I'll take you guys along with me so you can see what I'm eating, and of course it's starch solution. I'm not 100% starch solution, but pretty much every day and almost every meal is compliant. I do have certain days where I will have whatever and not feel bad about it, and that's just the way it is. But for the most part, I am starch solution. So of course, as always, very simple meals with ingredients that you can find anywhere. Also, with every meal, I'm kind of weird like this, but maybe some of you guys have already noticed, I eat bell peppers with pretty much every meal. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'm gonna have bell peppers. I bring bell peppers to work with me too. They're just so easy. They're easy to find at the grocery store, and I can just bring it to work with me for my 12-hour shifts. Super easy. I just wash it and throw it in my lunch bag and it's good to go. And that's a quick way of getting some extra veg in. So every meal I always have bell peppers. That's just me. You don't have to do it. I just really like bell peppers, so that's what I do. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for being here. So it's going to be a quick video of what I eat in a day, and I will walk you guys along everything that I'm having for the day. So to start my day off, I'm going to have something I don't normally eat, but I am going to splurge and have some pumpkin French toast. Since I have extra pumpkin puree that I have to use up, I'm going to be making that for breakfast this morning. So I am using a really good quality whole wheat bread, and I just had the bakery cut it up for me, and that's what I'm using for this recipe. And then I'm just kind of winging it because that's what I do. But I did show you guys what the measurements were that I used, and I'm just adding the pumpkin into my dairy-free milk. I'm adding a little bit of non-GMO cornstarch just to thicken it up slightly. If you leave it out, it will thicken up a little bit more. And then just pure maple syrup, and I have pumpkin spice that I'm throwing in, a little bit of pure vanilla extract. And I'm also adding some organic cinnamon, and that's it. You just whisk it up and dip your bread in. And I dipped it generously, so I did flip it back and forth a couple of times because I did want a lot of that pumpkin taste to come through in my bread. So my older daughter had the genius idea of air frying the French toast, since I can't have it in a frying pan with extra butter. So I decided to try it out, and it worked perfectly. Now, it depends on what type of air fryer you have. You'll have to check, what temperature you should make it at and how many minutes to keep it in for. But I used my Cosori. I do have 2 air fryers, but that's what I used for this one. And I just lined it with some parchment paper, and I put it at 400, and I put it for about 5 minutes on one side and then 4 minutes on the other side when I flipped it. It really depends on how thick your bread is too, so you might have to keep an eye on it, but it did work out really, really well. So I pre-toast my bread, as you can see, and then that way it won't get soggy, and I can dip it, for a little while and get all that flavor into my bread.
Christmas lights fill the city. There are people everywhere. The snow is falling white and pretty as I stroll on my way to.
So that's it. Super easy, of course. That's how I roll. Just super easy food and no fuss. And so I'm just adding simple maple syrup on top and a little bit of the organic cinnamon. You can top it with fruit or whatever you prefer, but that's how I ate it and I really enjoyed it. And then I just had some bell peppers alongside it because I'm weird like that, and I pretty much eat bell peppers with every single meal. So I just have 2¼ cups of green split peas, and I've got brown lentils here. I'm just going to rinse them and then cook them up so they can be the bottom of my shepherd's pie, because I'm going to be using my leftover oil-free mashed potatoes for that. So I just have the split peas and the lentils in here, and then I cut up 2 cups of kale because I have fresh kale in the backyard. And then I'm just going to allow this to cook up. I'm going to add some garlic powder, and I'm going to add some paprika. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's all I'm going to put into it and let it cook up. So I'm just going to wait for that to get to a nice boil. I am going to do it on a medium to low heat with the lid on. And it's morning time right now, but I would prefer to get this going. That way I already have it, and I already have my potatoes that are left over. And that way I don't have to worry about what I'm going to eat for lunch. I already know, I just have to put it together. So I'm just adding my mixture to the bottom of my baking dish, and then I'm just going to flatten it out a bit, and that way I can just put the potatoes on top. And I did use a fork to get my potatoes on because I didn't fluff them up very much and they were in the fridge. So even though I heated them up, I felt like working with a fork was easier just to get it nice and flat and then make those cute little lines on top that I'll show you in a moment. So the good thing about always having some potatoes or rice in the fridge is you can really, just make a meal really quickly. And by making these lentils first thing in the morning, they were already ready to go. And then I used up my leftover potatoes. Like, it is a super easy meal to put together, and it keeps me on track. And it's a very healthy and nutritious meal full of fiber and protein. And I feel good about eating it, and it fills my belly for a long time.
Leave this all behind. Go get snowed in somewhere. You and me. I would rather be somewhere with you without TV.
So this is what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. I just broiled it a little bit in the oven just to toast up the top of it. And that's it. You can cut it up and serve it. If you want, you can make vegan gravy. It's excellent on this. I do recommend that. But I'm just going to put a little bit of sriracha and call it a day, and that's what I'm having for lunch. And then alongside it, I'm just having a very simple salad. So I'm just having some mixed greens, and I cut up some bell pepper because I have always a bunch of peppers in the fridge. And then for my dressing, I just made my own dressing, and it's just some Dijon mustard, some balsamic vinegar, and some warm water. And I just whisk that with a little bit of garlic powder, and that's it. Okay, so now it's snack time. I decided that I'm going to make some of Dr. McDougall's grape nut bars, and this was from a really old school little cookbook that I had found used at the local Value Village. So I ended up picking that up, and this has been an awesome recipe that I do enjoy. It's a really healthy snack to have on hand and a great alternative if you feel like you're going to dip into things you shouldn't. So in the recipe, it calls for raisins, but I'm not a huge raisin fan. I do use raisins sometimes in it, but I had apricots that I had to use up, so I decided to cut that up, and they worked perfectly in this recipe. So I will add the recipe video to this in the cards so that if you want, you can watch that and make the recipe at home. It's really, really easy, and again, it's made by Dr. McDougall. So this is how they turn out. They're really, really good and super filling. And I find that it's a great breakfast for on the go. If you're in a pinch, you can just bring these along with you and you will stay full, and you're having something that has healthy ingredients in it. I find these are great to take to work with me as well, which is handy. And then for dinner, I'm having one of my staple meals that I always have, and that's just brown rice and some green beans. So the green beans are just made with a little bit of broth on a pan, and the brown rice was just made in the Instant Pot, and I just top it with some sriracha, and that's it. That is going to be my dinner, and I'm going to feel super full and satisfied. Thanks again for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for the support and all the new followers. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because that way you get notified each time I upload. And let me know in the comments below what types of videos you would like to see, and that way I can get working on those as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next week. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so you don't miss any upcoming content. If you're interested in easy to follow healthy recipes and wellness ideas, maybe you can consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you guys next week. Stay healthy.